This is Alfredo Lewis.
By the way.
Yes.
Nice to meet you guys.
This is Alfredo Lewis, and he is the VP of Influencer Strategies at Behind the Chair.
Yes.
That is technically your position.
It is.
Okay. But I want to start at the beginning. I want to start with where you're from and how you got in hair.
Great. So I'm actually from California. Probably they always say like, oh, whenever I say that, people always act like that's shocking, like nobody's really from California. But
we have listeners that are from not from California. So.
But I grew up around Disneyland, actually, like Anaheim Hills area. So I grew up in OC in Orange County, and I actually wanted to be an actor. So I dropped out of college. Like I only lasted in college for about a week, to my parents' dismay. They were really upset about it, and I was like, I'm gonna move to Los Angeles and become a movie star, right? 17, 18 years old. So so I came out here and I went to acting class at first, and that was like not at all what I thought I was going to be. I did a lot of theater in school, and I was like really excelled at that. But coming out here is obviously a completely different animal to try and acting class was like really intense, and I wasn't that good at it, to be honest with you, and wasn't getting that great of feedback, and like auditions, like it was just a lot. And so I came up with the idea. I don't know if you guys know who Debbie Mazar is. She's an actress. She's not like a big actress, but at the time I had read this interview of her, and she was talking about how she got her start doing hair for movies, and that she made all these connections, and that's how she got her start. So when I read that article, for some reason it just resonated with me, and I felt like I needed a backup plan of some sort. So I honestly went to beauty school as a backup plan. Or as a way to make connections in the movie industry to be an actor. But what I found was when I went to school, I actually fell in love with doing hair, or just the idea of doing hair.
So you enrolled in school right out of the gate when you had that idea? In hair school?
No, it was about a year into the acting.
Okay.
So I started doing acting, like I was about 17 and a half, so just about a year, maybe like literally on the money, about a year, and I was out. I didn't want to do it anymore. Well, I kind of did, but I just knew I needed to go in a different direction. And I started doing part-time school at first. So I didn't go to a private school at first. I went to actually LA Trade Tech. I know we're in Vidal Sassoon, but that's where I started, because they were one of the only schools that had part-time, and you could go a few hours a day rather than like the full 8-hour day.
Okay.
So I was able to do my acting classes, and I was able to go on an audition if I needed to, and also go to school. But what I found is I started really enjoying the hair part, and I was like, I didn't want to wait 2.5 years to get my license and to get my hours. So I quit the acting thing and I went full-time to school.
Okay. So you went from 2 hours a day
and then I went to a private
time.
school, like a much more expensive school.
Okay.
It was really cool.
You want to tell us?
Yeah, it was called Yamano Beauty College. It's not even around anymore, so it's not competitive in any way, because it's not around anymore. But what was cool is most of the students were from Japan in the school, and the English-speaking students, there was only 6 of us, and we had our own teachers, so it was really a great experience because it was very hands-on. There was 6 students, to 1 teacher, so we really got a lot of, I think, hands-on, really like one-on-one interaction with our instructor that I think a lot of people probably don't get when they're in beauty school.
Yeah. So what was your frame of mind when you started going full-time to beauty school?
Yeah.
What was your frame of mind? Were you thinking, this is going to be part-time for me, maybe I can still be an actor, or were you thinking,
at that time,
wow,
I was
really
totally confused. Just be honest, I was a kid, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I wanted to be. I knew I was enjoying the hair, and I definitely found a passion with it. In school, it's a lot about, I don't know how it's changed over the years, it's obviously a long time ago, but it's a lot about protecting yourself, protecting your client, I'm sure, right? The bones in the face and the hands, and I know that was a necessity, but I was more interested obviously in the hair part. But they would let us, at my particular school, even early on, Fridays we could do clients from like the get, pretty much. So that for me is when I really started to enjoy it. I found that I felt like I was obviously not great at it, but I was good at it at the time, and I enjoyed it and I excelled at it.
And it seems like your role develops a little bit because of Instagram, right? Because Instagram started becoming more popular.
I was terrible on Instagram back then.
Okay. but the timing, it was, B3 came out about the same time that Instagram was gaining speed in our community.
It was.
Okay.
It was gaining speed, and at the time I had no social media skills whatsoever. I was all about like shirtless pictures on the beach and like, oh, well, like I'm in, you know, bragging rights of like what country I'm in. Do you know what I mean? It was just like, but it wasn't a picture of hair. It was like a picture of me like in Italy with like wine, you know, like in Italy today. I can't wait to see the class, you know. It was nothing about hair, honestly. And they used to make fun of me. They'd be like, we have no idea like if you even do hair. Like we don't, you know, like we don't see anything on your Facebook other than like your friends and your family. But that's just what I used Facebook for. It was social media, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't using it for business at all. And at the time, I had a full clientele. You know, I was making really good money as an educator. And in my mind, things were evolving, but I was behind at that time. I didn't think I needed it. I didn't need that. And then B3 happened, and it really did change my whole outlook on things because that product came out at a different time. You know, Brazilian Blowout came out at a time when celebrities were driving what people bought and what you stylists wanted to use. And when B3 came out, social media was driving, and Olaplex obviously did an incredible job in the beginning at creating a social media frenzy around this product, you know, with Guy Tang and, you know, these huge influencers, Tracy Cunningham, and the people that were really pushing that brand. And it was, you know, obviously a huge success, and it was a phenomenon, like Brazilian Blowout was a phenomenon, you know? All of a sudden it was like, you can color without damage. And I had to have the product. Like, I wanted it. I put myself on a waiting list for it. I wanted to use it and get my hands on it. And then there was just some, I think it's a great product, but there was just some things about it at the time, which I think now they've like changed some things with it, but that I didn't like. I never didn't like the product. It was just, they were asking me at the office, like, so what do you think of it? Because they saw my excitement. I'm like, well, I wish it did this, or I wish it did that, but I do like it. And so obviously their light bulb went off, and they were like, well, what if we could make something that doesn't do the things like, I was like, I wish it was only one step, and I wish that it didn't slow things, like I wish I didn't have to like up my developer, and I wish, you know, I just said a lot of I wishes, and then the next thing you know, we had a chemist, and we were like creating what ended up becoming B3.
So Mary from Behind the Chair hired you to do what?
Now?
Yeah.
So I guess because she saw what I did for B3, because like we had like, when I left, I think we had 90 influencers promoting for B3. So I built that network. It started with Ricky, and you know, segued to like, it went from that to 10 to 20 to 30. And in the end, there was 90 influencers that we had. And we used to call each other like the B3 family, because we really, I mean, it sounds crazy, but all 90 of us, like even to this day, all care about each other, all keep in touch through social media. You know, obviously some more than others. You always have people that you're closer to, but we all know who each other are, and we all care about each other. And then my following started to grow, because all the artists started to ask me to do collaborations. So I would do videos with them and photos with them, and you know, all of a sudden my followers started to grow like crazy. And Mary obviously took notice, you know. And she was also very welcoming to me from the first time I met her, I have to say, because that was like 4 shows ago when I met Ricky. And so she, I think she just decided that there's a lot of things going on in the industry right now, a lot of changes happening. You know, so many hairstylists now, like in today's age, you can be anything you want, you know, and you can use social media however you want. So, I mean, I used it to propel a brand forward, and I used it to meet people, and I, you know, ended up working with other brands because of it, and promoting other brands and making really good money off of that. But some people build entire clienteles from it, or as you well know, or open up their own salons, fully booked client. I mean, you can do anything you want. But I think Mary saw the business side of it, of brands, you know, all these contracts and locking these artists into these contracts where they can't work with anybody else, or maybe they're not paying them fairly, or, you know, all the things that happen on the backside that, you know, I wish I could protect everybody from, you know, and being that I'm more on that business side, but you really can't, because this is so much bigger than all of us, and there's so many brands out there, and I think she wanted to bring me in to do what I did at B3, but for all the brands, not just for one brand.
Right.